After a short wait, we'll take a look at the next 5-star unit in this event, Jew, a sniper from the Besieger subclass that has really stood out for the variety of units it offers. Going into more detail, this subclass focuses on prioritizing attacks against the heaviest enemy units, which is quite useful, since most bosses are heavy and these units generally excel at dealing high DPS. The downside is, when you have 2 units of different weights and the lighter one is near the blue box, since these units always prioritize the heaviest one regardless of the situation, so be careful when deploying them. Now let's move on to his talent, Dogmatist. This talent ensures that every time the unit is about to defeat an enemy, instead of killing it, the enemy will be left in the critically wounded state. Enemies in this state will not be attacked by Jew. Now then, what is a critically wounded state? Honestly, this is one of the states most forgotten by developers, since before Jew, only 2 units were capable of inflicting this state. The critically wounded status causes enemies, instead of dying, to be left with 1 HP, and have their movement speed drastically reduced. Additionally, enemies in this state cannot be healed in any way. If an enemy in this state is defeated by an allied unit, that unit will receive 1 SP. If the enemy is not struck by an allied unit, it will die after 10 seconds. This status is excellent for increasing SP generation in allied units, especially when combined with Warfarin, as it further boosts SP generation. For this reason, the combination of Saga and Warfarin was very effective for certain events. Now, moving on to his abilities, Fine Bow, Difficult Draw. This skill increases the damage of Jew's next attack, and contorts her charges at all levels. However, it can only be used against units with health below 50%. So don't expect her to use it against units at full health. This is because it's designed to ensure his talent activates when he defeats enemies. As for his second ability, Fine Wings, Difficult Flight. This ability must be activated manually. When activated, Jew's damage will increase, and he'll be able to attack an additional unit. Furthermore, if there are enemy units with health below 50%, they'll take an extra hit with increased damage, making this ability excellent for finishing off enemies. Both skills are very good, although his second skill could be put to better use against bosses or elite enemies. However, I recommend experimenting with both, as they can be useful in different situations. Regarding his module, CX, Scarecrow in the Field, this will increase damage dealt to enemies with a weight greater than 3, and at levels 2 and 3, it will deal extra damage to enemies with low health. This can be very useful for getting the most out of his talent. If you really like this unit, I would definitely recommend unlocking its module as soon as possible, because it greatly enhances its personal talent. As for its base talents, these will focus on increasing byproduct production when processing elite materials, and will also reduce moral consumption, making it a very good unit for producing materials. Finally, as a personal opinion, I believe that Jew is a unit that really takes advantage of a status effect that's been largely ignored. As a sniper, he can affect many units from a distance with the critically wounded effect, which can lead to some very interesting strategies. So I'd recommend using him at least once, even if just out of curiosity, and if you have Warfarin, you'll end up generating a large amount of SP with allied units. A subclass that pairs very well with him is the Centurions, so I'd recommend giving this combination a try. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and that it helped you better understand how this unit works. Without further ado, I'll say goodbye, take care, and see you next time.